very shook. Second car, not that shook. Around the 10th car is all just a car. You cannot remember. Then afterwards it's like, oh man, is this it? Just gonna live out my entire life buying things and barely registering on my emotions. Like, wow, this does sound very successful to me.
Welcome to the Authentic FRG podcast. Hi, Mel.
Hey, what's up? Yes.
Thanks for making the time. I know you've always been overseas and flying and doing all the things, the masterminds and everything else. So appreciate taking the time out. So, obviously this is the first time actually of like our podcast series that. So the rest of the people that we have I interviewed is advisors, right? Advisors, right? So this time it's like technically you're not the advisor, but obviously you are someone that have coached me for a few years and I learned a lot, and also you have also coached like some of the other top agency leaders, yada. So I thought like today would be a very, very great interview, great session for people to kind of like have a deeper understanding when it comes to marketing, positioning, and kind of like the more metaphysical kind of things, right? Yeah. So to begin off, right, one of the questions I right off like top of my head, I wanted to ask was like, when advisors they come into this industry, it's always about like it's a few things, right? It's the money, time flexibility, work-life balance, that kind of stuff, which is what's being sold also, right, by agency leaders, so on and so forth. Now, my question therefore is, how do one balance out between the time flexibility portion versus the money, right? And why I ask this question is because sometimes, when you talk to advisors, when you coach them, it's like, at the beginning, you some people go in for the money, but because the time flexibility is also something that they want, they end up having too much time, freedom in that sense, and then like they don't, really work, right? Yeah. So how do you kind of like navigate between like, okay, you know what? I have time flexibility, I should maybe have these hours but then work this, or should it just be like your first year, 2 years, it's like you work your ass off, earn money, then you enjoy more later? Like, how should one, as an advisor, kind of like navigate around that, when it comes to this industry?
I think the greatest problem is in this industry, they sell money, physical, and all the cool things. And that's what people need as a hook to come in. But ultimately, success is never about the sexy, attractive hooks. Success is about a vision. Success is about like what exactly do you want to create. The problem with selling money and selling freedom and getting people to come in for money and freedom is that money and freedom is not really the answer. Because when they make money, or when they desire money or desire freedom, then sooner or later everything becomes out of whack. The real people that sustain long term, right, are those that have a reason for the money, and they have a reason for what their life wants to be. They have a reason for what their freedom wants to be also. For some people, they're willing to trade freedom for money and success. And it's not just even money and success, it's the ability to fulfill their potential, to create something, to want to achieve something, and they're happy because that is their operational definition of success. For some people, their ideal life is one where they have a lot of freedom and then they make this amount of money and they're happy. And so and that's cool. The problem with most people is they do not know and they have never had somebody guide them to really sit down and design what exactly does success look like for you. Success involves two things. Success involves a price to pay and a reward to get. And you are happy when the reward you get equals the price you pay. Now, it becomes a problem when you have not very clear what the reward you want, what the price you want to pay, or you start to come in and think you want something for nothing. Something for nothing means I want everything in the world. I want to be an Olympic champion, but I only want to train like 5 minutes a day. Then we are delusional. I want a Lambo, but I only want to pay 5K. That doesn't happen. But success happens when we understand that there is a reward that we desire and there's a price to pay. The reward and the price are fair, and we are okay with this transaction. So it's kind of like, you have a Rolex, I charge you X amount, and you're like, that sounds like a good deal. I like the Rolex, I'm okay paying this amount, everybody happy. So I think a lot of people are not going to be successful in this business because they haven't sat down and established, right, what exactly is the reward they want and what exactly are they willing to pay, or they have very unfair expectations also. So I think that's why most run into trouble and most they run out of steam.
Yeah, and that's the interesting part, right? Because it's like, I think one of the things you mentioned is basically like, it's not they don't have goals, it's just that they might not be very clear about what's the exact goal about, right? It's not about what you're saying, it's not about the money, it's not only about the freedom, but it's kind of envisioned with more specific, like how exactly you want your life to be like.
Yes.
Right? But then my question, the follow-up for this, right, would be, in this industry, technically, to me, at the very least, I believe it's basically a sales industry. They're just salespeople, male and female alike, just selling insurance, investments, so on and so forth, right? So therefore, not a lot of people go into this industry, or, at least the people managing them, or the culture is such that, like, hey, sit down, tell me about your true goals, so on and so forth. Because they tend to usually have the influence of, like, hey, MDRT is the minimum standard. It should be blah, 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 right? But we know of people who just want to do 60K a year and then just enjoy time with family. Yeah. So how does one maybe, kind of like find their true goals that's authentic?
And I think the onus is on the individual to really sit down and really just to plan and think. We can say that the agency leaders ought to do this, but in a way, yes, it's kind of cool if you find an agency leader that can sit down, care about you enough to say, let me help you. I know some of them that do, but it's really up to the individual. Like at the end of the day, you come into this, and individuals, and that's why, like, when it comes down to success, self-awareness is the most important. The more you understand yourself, and self-clarity, self-awareness, like what do you want? What is important to you? What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to give up? I even disagree that some people come into this for sales. Some people come into this to build a team. Some people come into this to fulfill their full potential. Some people don't want MDRT. Some people want COT. They want TOT. They want greatness. They want to be the number one team in Prudential, in AIA, etc. And they've always come in with that entire desire not to do sales. But some people come in to basically make money and then just be real chill. Some people come in so that they can buy a watch and a car and just like have that lifestyle also. So I think when a person is clear about, and there's no right or wrong, I'm not saying that everybody should come in and aspire to be the number one team in Great Eastern or AIA or Prudential. That's not a prerequisite unless you want to. But if you're very clear, like, fundamentally, why am I engaged in this activity? What exactly is my metrics for success? Is it just, and does everyone need to be a team? That's another great question also, right? For some people, hey man, you want to be a superstar salesperson, you're not that interested in like developing people, that's cool. Do you just go out there, close high net worth people, hey, just make your COT, TOT, whatever it is like that makes you happy, clock your money, that's it, that's all cool. This is the same for other industries. There are real estate people that just flat out be like, hey, you know what, I just want to sell a lot of things, I'm not very interested in like building a team, and that's great, just do your thing. But some of the people, their definition of success and greatness is different, and they want to have that huge team under them, then do it, but don't do it out of obligation. That's the problem. You got some managers who take on people but they don't really want to take on people, then they take on people, they abuse the people or don't care about people. It's like, hey, go, so you have a misalignment here. If you don't like people, just say don't like people, then you don't have to do it, or just go and do your sales and production.
Then how should one try not to get like conformed to kind of like the social norm, right? Because it's like one thing basically, be clear, okay, cool, let's say I'm clear, right, this is 75K a year, blah, 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 with all this kind of lifestyle, whatever. But then, like, when you're in an agency or when you're in an environment where other people
they want to push you to
correct, right? So how do you, if let's say this person assuming very clear, this is what I want, but environment matters a lot. Yeah. So how does one kind of like not conform into setting goals or achieving goals that actually belongs to what other people want?
You know what? You never know. Sometimes you dip your toes in. You gotta take out a person. After a while, so you never actually know till you actually do some of it or you observe people there. And you start to have that self-awareness with yourself. Is this what I want to do? And the worst is like when you do some of these things, and then afterwards like that outwardly look successful, but then you feel miserable inside. So then that's not good. I give an example. I have a speaker friend of mine from Malaysia. He listened to some coach who told him to streamline his entire business so that he doesn't need to work every single day. And that was supposed to be a dream, right? Make money, never have to work. The guy's at home and he's miserable. then the worst thing is he's miserable and tell everyone that he's miserable. Then everyone's like, is this like, he said, hey bro, I make money every day and I'm miserable, but I have too much free time. Then people are like, wait, so what's the problem here? Is this like, are you showing off? What do you want from me? Like you want me to feel sorry for you? Yeah. But like, you don't understand, I'm miserable. Everyone's like, hey, get lost. I don't want to hear this shit. Yeah. So he came and find me. I say, hey man, you see, I think you don't understand yourself, because he's a speaker, he gets his joy from speaking. But what he didn't want was to do everything from early morning all the way to late at night. He didn't want to do from 9 to 9. But he didn't want to not do anything either. So I said, okay, what's your metric of success? He said, actually, I want to give some talks. I want to give like the highlights of it. I said, that's fantastic. So get your team to do from 9 to 1, or the intro part, right? You just do it from 2 to 4. 2 to 5, you scratch your itch, right? Then from 5 to 9, closing, let somebody else do it. He said, that's such a brilliant idea. I said, thank you very much. This is why people pay me a lot of money. Because now he has the alignment. He don't got to do, he doesn't need to pick between two bad choices. Do everything, which is exhausting. Do nothing, which is depressing. Yeah. And now you can find an in-between that. He can find a time where he can do the things that he want to do while having other people do all the things they don't want to do while still making excellent money. He did it. He found his joy back. And he was like, you know, it's brilliant. I say, you should take all the money you gave to the previous guy and give it all to me. Because that advice was pretty shitty. That was terrible advice. Yeah. You know, so that's what I think by metrics. You got to sit down and be clear. Maybe dip your toes there and go like, that's what everyone's supposed to do. But I'm not really happy. And just like, okay, cool. First, our goal in life, right, is to find the metrics that makes us the most happy. You know, it's a bit like soccer position like that. You know, the best performing people are the ones that find their position within the team where they can excel. It brings out the best in them. Now, you can have this player move to another team and they are placed in a terrible position. And all of a sudden, this person look like they never played football before. And it happens also. So our job is always constantly to be self-aware, to be very clear and find that magic mix also, where we can shine, we can be the happiest. Or else, you keep picking between two bad choices. Over here, don't make money, right? And then that's not good. But here you're making money and outwardly look successful, but you sad. And then it's like, then you're just constantly miserable. So I think this is absolutely critical. You know, so copying, I think people should be inspired, but people should never duplicate. Because another person's success might not be yours. You know, and the worst is like, you know, you copy everything about them, then later you find out, actually I don't enjoy this. Right? So I think people should be inspired. So when I look at somebody do great things and you're like, oh my God, cool man, if he can do it, I can do it. But it doesn't mean that you got to do exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, because sometimes and I think like humans are just like mimetic creatures, right? So you see and then you kind of like want to copy. And stuff like that. And then kind of like once you
But the moment you copy, you're second best. Hey, so there's this guy called Alex Hormozy, right? So imagine you go and copy Alex Hormozy. You got nothing wrong with your nose, you also put the nose strip. Then you constantly walk around in singlet, even though you're like, that's not your thing. Then now it just looks weird. People are like, what is Ben doing? Why is he always dressed like this? So it's terrible. I think people should be inspired, but then you should find your own style. And then you find your own definition of success, then you'll be happier. So I think that's what people should do.
So you talk about, so it's funny, it's so interesting, right? So you talk about like, look at others, and then basically having a lens through which you see, and oh wow, this guy is doing great, this guy is doing great, and then you're like, I want to do more, right? You get inspired. There's always a flip side to that, right? Which is like, wow, this person joined earlier than me, or joined later than me, do more than, like earn more than me, and then it's like, you just feel, it's kind of comparison, right? Then you feel inferior, you feel shitty about yourself, so on and so forth, right? Yeah, so, you know, and it is very, I would say like, at least in the insurance industry, it's very, it's something that's a little more prevalent, right? Because especially, you know, they will compare your production every month. And then it's like, it doesn't, if it's top 3, there can only be 3 people at the top, right? So if you're not, then it's either you're middle or you're at the bottom. So how should, and I think it affects a lot of people, you know, especially when people I talk to and everything else, it just screws up with their mental health and everything else. So, you know, how can we maybe, I don't know if the right word is like reframe or reshift the perspective or wear a different lens such that we can look at someone and say like, hey, you know what? Wow, 这个人这样子 can do this. I also want, I also can. Versus like, you know,
I got a perfect answer for you. And I was teaching this over the weekend or so. So there is a UFC fighter. His name is Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier is called the Diamond. And early on his career, Dustin was a very young, emotional fighter. You know, he fought Conor McGregor and lost also. Because Conor knows how to get under his skin. As Dustin became older, right, he placed only 2 circles in his gym. He wrote 1 small circle and 1 bigger circle. The middle circle is things I can control. The bigger circle, and it's actually my phone wallpaper. The bigger circle is things I cannot control. So whether Conor says weird shit to me at a press conference, things I cannot control. Whether the media likes me, hates me, things I cannot control. Whether people write hateful comments, things I cannot control. Now, for things you cannot control, you should surrender and let it go. Doesn't matter. Right? There's stoicism, they say death and whatever, it doesn't care, right? You know, I don't know, like, if I stress about it, it's not like it's going to change. It's not like my stressing about it makes a difference. Now, the next one is things I can control. Now, when you're in the gym and you're training for a fight, what are the things you can control? I can control my attitude, I can control my training, I can control my diet, I can control my nutrition, I can control how hard I push. And so, as Dustin got older, he let go of all the things he cannot control and focus on all the things that he can control. So now the person doing better than you, right, is not in your control. Right? What you could control is you can control your mental state, right? You can control your progress, right? And those are actually the only things that matter. Right? So it's really about tuning out the noise and just focusing on the things that you can control at the end of the day, whether you're making active steps forward. Right? Because for every person that does well, that joined later, there's another person that joined later and doesn't do well. Right? How come you don't do that? Right? But then again, is it even about them? right? Because fundamentally, and because these are all things outside of our control, right? But do you really care about a person doing well, a person not doing well? Why does it matter? What matters at the end of this? How you are doing what?
Right.
And all those people that are concerned about other people doing good or bad, they all have one thing in common. Their focus is all outward, and they don't seem to get a lot of shit done. Because if you got a lot of shit done, you'll wake up and be like, what's my to-do list today?
Yeah.
What's my actions? What are my steps? What are the things I need to do today? You'll be more inwardly focused, right? But if you have a lot of shit to say to other people, right? Which means then, I would challenge you. Where's your focus? Your focus is on them. I need your focus on you, because I need your focus to, hey man, make your 5 calls today. You're going to send your 10 WhatsApp messages today, post on your stories. I'd rather you do all those things and give a shit about how this guy is doing and how that guy is doing. But advisors and naturally people like to put their focus on the outside, on things they cannot control, or even worse, things that don't matter. When then it's like, okay, cool, you have so much shit to say about this other person. Can I ask you, did you get your 5 calls in today? How many people did you meet today? Did you send your messages today? Did you post in your story today? Did you sit down and really reach out to your clients today? Oh, you didn't do all these things, but you can tell me all the stories on how you feel inside about this and that. Then I'll just be like, hey man, from what it sounds like, it seems like you are doing all of these things to mask the fact that you're a lazy piece of shit. It's just like, you have a lot of things to say, but it's like you can't get basic shit done.
Yeah.
So it's like, just everyone is playing their own race, right? The beautiful thing is, yes, the leaders and the companies, they want to frame things as a competition, but ultimately it's your own race, right? You're self-employed, right? It's your own race, right? You are racing against yourself, right? It is up to you to focus on the things that you can control and create the life that you want.
Wow.
So I think just people lose sight of that. And so Dustin, is so much a greater fighter. So Dustin fought Conor McGregor 3 times. First time he was emotional. Conor got under his skin, Conor knocked him out because Dustin he was angry. Yeah. Second and third time, Dustin beat Conor. Because why? Dustin at the press conference, he didn't give a shit. Conor talk all the rubbish. Dustin was just like, nah, whatever. And that actually got under Conor's skin.
Because there's no effect, right?
Yeah, there's no effect. Dustin like, who cares? The guy say, I don't control myself. And all he did was execute his game plan. Dustin beat Conor. Conor was now the one that's emotional, and Conor lost twice.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Oh, that's good energy. And Melvin, I have this and I want to share this conversation. Yeah. I want to hear your thoughts on this, right?
Sure.
So, the industry is like, okay, it's a 1-year game plan kind of thing, right? At the end of the year, 31st December, you see where you rank, and then on 1st January, you restart, right? Because the scoreboard resets itself.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of advisors, in fact, it's very common that they feel like, wow, okay, so I ran my COD. 1st Jan come in and it's like, okay, I need to. It's kind of, it feels like you're starting from scratch again.
Yeah.
Right? And I think over time, a lot of advisors, we talk about sustainability. For me, I feel sustainability is in 2 forms, right? One is the business model itself. The other one is really on your internal, and everything else, right? So a lot of times, I feel like they're restarting. And over the years, right? If you feel like you're restarting every year, at some point in time, you just feel sick and tired of it. You just kind of burn out, right? But I give the example of if you go primary school, like P1 to P6, and then when you go to Sec 1 to, let's say, Sec 4, Sec 5, you realize that the way we frame it is it's a progression, right? Primary to secondary to poly, JC. But why? But we technically can say that it's a reset, right? Like Sec 1 going, technically it's a reset, right? But why don't we see it this way in the industry? What do you think at the very least, why advisors don't see it this way in the industry, whereby, you measure your year 1 to year 3, how much income you have earned versus on a yearly basis, everything is like a reset kind of stuff.
I don't completely see it as a reset. I think it's ridiculous that people see it as a reset.
But they do, right? So
you see, it can only be a reset if I go from 0 to 1, then 1 back to 0, and the whole game is 0 to 1, 0 to 1, 0 to 1. No, what? For every long length of time. Then if that's the case, then Ben, this year you are 1 year old. Correct? No. Actually, you're not 1 year old. As of this shooting we're doing is in October now. Ben, you're 9 months old. Correct? Because on the 1st of January, Ben, you're 0 again. No, what's the definition of age? That is ridiculous. Why would anyone think that they are restarting? Right? Then we are all we are 0, we start 1st Jan, and our max age is 1, and we always go back to 0. I don't know where people get this idea. This is ridiculous. Then you're not whatever age that you are. Because every year goes from Jan to December, but when it comes back to Jan again, you're a different person, right? You're wiser, you're smarter, you have a bigger brand, you have more experience. right? And if you don't like this idea, guess what? That's how life is, right? Your age is like you cannot just say, hey, I dislike December. I don't want to go back to Jan. What do people say on their birthday? Yeah, 1 year older, 1 year wiser, 1 year smarter, right? Right? So why can't the year just be exactly that, right? Just 1 year different. Like this year, I figured some things out last year. I screwed up some areas last year. This year I want to have it become better. Let's start the year. Let's make some improvement. Let's make this year better than the next year. Right? So why would you see a year as a reset? Why not see a year as a chance to right some wrongs and further some rights? This is like a really simple. It's really strange to do that. So if people have that idea of reset, right, just tell them you're 9 months old. Then guess what? 1st Jan, you're 0 years old again. Right? Makes no sense, right? Then you shouldn't count your age, right? Correct,
Yeah.
Right? Because if we can't count your age, then right now you're the sum total of all the mistakes, successes, lessons you have learned. So it's kind of bizarre that people consider a resetter. But even if they don't like it, but this is how the year works. It goes from 1 all the way to 12 and repeats again. But if you see it as a continuation of a person's life, right? And it's a life cycle within the entire business, and actually if you do the right things, then every year becomes a lot easier to play because you maybe have a bigger brand, you have more lessons, you have more skills, right? I mean, they'll always present their own challenges, but should be something to look forward to.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah. Because I always talk about, like, one of the things I talk to our clients, I talk about, like, I think it goes back to kind of like asking, like, what's the metrics, right?
Yeah.
What's the yardstick we are using to measure progress? A lot of people, one of the main metrics they use is like, yardstick they use is like, last year I earned 100, this year I also earn 100. Therefore equals to no progress. Right?
Yeah.
So, but then again, like,
strange thing to say.
But again, like, if you really look at other areas, right, it's like some of them who did the same 100 the second year, they work like 3-4 hours lesser, and like it's a lot easier. There's no grind to it.
And hopefully, I mean, that's the way things are supposed to be, hopefully you are smarter now at this age than when you were 10, You wouldn't just say like, hey, no, I have this intelligence at 10. When at 12 I just the same. I'm like, really, like, this is very odd psychology. The longer this conversation goes, I really think, and this is one of the things I really think. I think financial advisory, success, money, sales, psychology is so important. Psychology, because the way people think. Like, I find these interesting and a little like funny, because I find the way they think, the psychology of like some of these things, just like, oh no, actually it's funnier, but it makes total sense if sometimes we are in a place of limitation and we don't quite see it. But it's so critical that when you're self-employed, you get your psychology right. It's very important to get your skills right.
I love that.
Right? You got to sit down, learn how to present, know your plans in and out, know how to do all these things. But you got to get your psychology right. Or else when I start listening to these are just like very interesting, like where you get this idea from. This is a bit weird. I make this year, next year it must be this amount. Huh? So you say I flip it around. I have this amount of intelligence at 10, 11, I must be exactly the same as 10. Also the whole year just burn, you're not going to get smarter. Then 12, I must be the same as 10 years old. So then like that, then our whole life defined at 10 years old. It makes no sense. Right? I really hope that at 11, you're smarter than 10. I hope that at 20, you're smarter than when you're 12.
Right.
I hope that at 30, you're smarter than 20. And of course, it's true. Right? Now, if I were to send you back now, and you are no longer 12, I send you back to 10 years old now. Do you think you'll be better, smarter than the 10-year-old Ben? You talk about you go back and do the 10-year-old P5 exam, bro. Come on, you can do this P4, P5. You think you can top the class, right? At this age, you should be able to, right? That means, why can you top the class now? Because you got a smarter, right?
Yeah.
Correct, right? Life is about growth, right? The fact that a person can say, I made this amount last year, and this year I made this amount. You get this idea. Life is about growth, right? Baby grows in height, weight, size, everything. Like, it's all just about growth, right?
Yeah, wow, love that. Psychology, yeah. So, I want to digress and go into like marketing, right?
Oh,
Because
we can
that's
go
also, like,
anywhere.
expertise too. So, when it comes to advisory, again, we all know that it's like a saturated whatever. Most people tend to see it as saturation because, in my opinion, and I think we talk about this, because they tend to see or act, behave, and do the same thing as other people, right? So therefore, they feel there's competition, so on and so forth. So, based on your experience with leaders and in advisory space, right? How do you think, as advisors, not like agencies, but advisors themselves, right, differentiate themselves and when should they do it?
I say this is very interesting. So first of all, when a person sees themselves as saturated, they are seeing the lowest level of themselves. If I were to see myself, right, there are different ways I can identify myself. This is a very deep conversation. So let's say I want to get a girl. I want to get a girlfriend. Or whatever, whatever orientation people are. You want to get a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever the heck you want. Now, why? If I saw myself as a male, that would be horrible. No, there's so many males around. I don't think I can get a girlfriend. Right? That'd be odd. But, that's what happens if you see yourself as saturated. Now, if you level up and see yourself, oh, I'm Asian, I'm Chinese. You see yourself as your race. Then you might also think there are a lot of Chinese people around. Now, some people level up and they see themselves as an entrepreneur occupation or qualification. And then all of a sudden, maybe you don't see so much like saturation, but still a lot of people. Then you level up and say maybe amount of money, how tall I am, or my looks, etc. Okay, maybe not as much saturation, but then also like arguably good looking, not good looking, might be a few good looking guys. But what do people do? Do people identify as their height, their looks? Do they identify with their degree of education? Do they define themselves as their gender or their race? That'd be a horrible way to define yourself. Right? But when you go on a date, what? You say, hi, my name is Ben. Oh, so you define yourself as the unique person that you are. Now, how many Ben Ongs are there? One. You don't go, hi, my name is male. Hi, my name is Chinese. You don't, right? Hi, my name is this amount of income, right? But you sit down, you identify yourself as Ben, right? Right? And what is your name? Oh, my name is Felicia. My name is Sherlyn. Unique to unique connection, right?
Yeah.
So when you go and say, hey, there are a lot of people, hey, just think, how many Ben Ongs are there? Only one, right? Right? And that's how you make an authentic connection, right? If there was truly a saturation purely based upon the lowest common denominator, male, Chinese, this height, this weight, this income, then nobody should be dating here. Right? Correct? And that's not what we do when we make friends, when we connect, when we interact, and when we date also. Right? We go unique to unique. Right? I'd love to get to know you. Right? What's a date? I want to get to know you. Right? I don't want to say, hey man, hey, I'm a male with a female. We got no name one. I just... correct or not? Yeah. What do you do on a date if I identify as the lowest common denominator? I also don't know. I have no clue. Right? So you must see that's human interaction. And you do it in your relationship. So how come you cannot do that in your business? And when you see from that, right, then you start to realize, hey, then there's only one. Correct? That's the first key. Now, when should you differentiate? Now, first of all, you must understand it's not about when you should differentiate. You must understand that you are different. You are already different. Your fingerprint is different. Your retina, your iris, whatever it is different. Now I go and travel a lot, right? You don't ever use fingerprint. Just like look at the thing. Yeah. So clearly, like right from a biological standpoint, everybody is different. Because if you're all the same, then this airport machine don't work already. So first of all, you must understand. I stand at the airport machine, like everybody is unique. Yeah. It's not even like Melvin thinks that everybody's unique. Hello, the airport machine will tell you that you are unique. Okay, I cannot go up there and say I'm Ben Ong. I am Melvin Soh. I cannot. So we all unique. So first up. So it's not I'm selling a philosophy. So we are all special. Now the acknowledgement is that okay, I'm unique and different. Then the next question becomes how am I unique and different? If I'm already unique and different. How am I unique and different? What am I going to do different? What things I believe in? What is my story? Why the hell am I doing this? What kind of people I want to appeal to? And that's when you begin the whole differentiation process. Now, do you need to outwardly say it? No, but you need to internally think it. Right? And that's why I say that if you go one big circle, you go back to the exact same idea of self-clarity and self-awareness. Self-awareness is I know who I am. Self-clarity is I know what I want. These are the two things you need. It's very impossible to create success, right? If you don't know who you are. And you don't know what you want. When you have self-awareness, I know who I am. Self-clarity, I know what I want. You have success. If I meet a person and they are self-unaware, I don't know who I am. And they are not clear. There is no success. There's only some kind of success, which means they can only look outwards and copy. And even if they reach there, there's a very low chance that they'll be happy. And so differentiation is the acknowledgement that right now you are different. Right? You are different. Like the airport would say that you're different. The passport would say that you're different. Your IC says that you're different. Your fingerprint says that you're different. So it's not a matter of whether am I different? You are different. Now it's like, okay, what makes me different? You sit down, you understand, you analyze, and then you can outwardly show it, inwardly show it. More you embrace it, right? You're self-aware. You're clear. You start to embrace your own voice. You start to realize, oh, this is my style. This is what I do. This is who I am. And so the stuff I teach at X Factor, right, is actually not so much about design. It's about, realizing. Design means outward. Realizing means inward. Like, these are the people that I naturally attract. These are the kind of things that I like to do. These are the things that, this is how I talk. And then when you have grown in that self-awareness and self-realization, then you start to know, okay, so I think this is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. These kind of people resonate with me. Then you have power. Because power doesn't come from outside. Power comes from inside. But you can't tap what you don't first find.
Right.
And that's a critical thing. And that's the whole idea. So people think, Mel teach X Factor, you go and do. No, what my gift is, right, is my ability to look at a person and go, well, you seem to have all of these things, right? I think this is where your power center is. And some person, like, they have that moment where they have that self-realization. I think it's right. Oh my God, this is where I should head now. So that's what it is. And it's different for everybody. So I coach like Lord knows how many people. I've never found two people that have the exact same power center.
Might be similar.
It might be similar, but it sounds similar, but when you go down to the nuance, it's different.
And so I think so if let's say someone understood and learned the frameworks, right, of the different levels of differentiation, and let's say that is not a problem because they're aware, they got the knowledge, blah blah blah, but yet they still tend to label themselves, but they, people come up with things like, Mel, I understand. Yes, I'm like that, but other people also like that, right? Or like, but I feel like this one not very powerful or doesn't make me that different, so on and so forth. When people come up with rebuttals like that, right?
Yeah.
What do you think is the thought process behind it? Is it because they feel like they don't see
I think
themselves
it's a lack of
value?
It's a lack of self-esteem. It is not understanding their value, not understanding their self-worth, not wanting to step into their power and just seeing themselves as special. It is a very strange thing because right now I am like mentioning, I think you're special, and yet they are defending. No, I am not.
Yeah, right.
Which is the oddest thing because you must go like, well, okay, that's kind of interesting, I give an example. I did a talk, and because I took myself from $800 a month all the way to 7 figures and higher, right? And so I believe that everyone, if they get their psychology right, they can. Will everyone be a millionaire? I don't know, but everyone can certainly make a lot more money. And I can see a person can easily be a 6-figure person, 7-figure person. And I gave a talk when I say I look at everybody and I say I believe that you have this person within you, and people start sniggering. And I said, isn't that interesting? I'm here to say I believe in you. Your snigger tells me you don't believe in my belief in you. So watch, you don't believe in my belief in you, which means you believe that you cannot do it. So you're fighting for your limitation while I'm here fighting for your possibility. You see a difference? I'm trying to say, hey, bro, you can be a millionaire. Then you're like, nah lah, bullshit. Then I'm like, well, isn't that interesting? You say you love yourself, right? But here I am fighting for the fact that
Is it an Asian thing or is it just like
I think it's a self-esteem thing. I think then I pointed that out. The person, of course, stopped laughing because I'm like, isn't it strange? I'm fighting for saying like, hey man, your life is worthwhile. You're like, bullshit. Then you're trying to say like your life not worthwhile. Well, isn't it strange? Like, do you see that psychology right there? Yeah. Would a self-loving, worthing person do that? It's kind of weird, right? You should be agreeing with me, right? I'm not saying something negative. I'm not putting you down. I'm like putting you up. I'm saying I believe in you. But you are like, your action alone means that you don't think my belief in you, my view of you is accurate. Right? Which tells me you see yourself as very low. That right there is the problem. Right? I am fighting for your possibility and you are defending your limitation. I find it like fascinating. I just want to take that and reflect that back. Right? Why are you so convinced that you're this or there's something here?
And what do you think like people put limitations on?
I think it's background. I think it's parents. I think it's school. I think it's a lack of self-awareness. The fact that they don't sit down and realize these things about themselves. And I think that's why I say I talk so much about psychology. I thought about psychology because if you meet a person with a limiting self-image, you can teach them all the skills and they will not use it. But when you expand their self-image to a degree they see themselves different, then they will do things in accordance to their self-image. I know, and I'm a fantastic coach, not because I'm so ingenious. I think I'm fairly excellent, pretty smart. But I've gone from $800 a month where I had a certain view of myself,
right,
to 7 figures now where I have a certain view of myself. I can realize that my thoughts are entirely different. You see, if I was born rich, right, I would always have had rich thoughts and then I don't know the difference. But I've had broke thoughts. I've had mid-range thoughts. I've had rich thoughts. I've had wealthier thoughts. And I had all of these are me. And I can see the difference. I remember the time when I thought $10,000 in the world was like the greatest thing ever. It was like a dream. Oh my
Yeah,
God,
you used to
10,000 a
think
month.
that. Yeah,
Oh my
I used
God, like if I achieve that, like I can buy anything in the world. It's kind of interesting, right? I remember those times that like, you know, I would like lie on the bed and just fantasize about 10K a month. That's when I was making $800 a month. You know, and I would say a good month would be like if I'm making $3,000.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of interesting. I've been there. You know, and then of course when you fast forward to the different place I am. So what do we realize? Realize that first and foremost, anyone listening to this, yes, you gotta have a recognition of this is where your thought process is. Here's a beautiful thing. Because on neuroplasticity, our brain can change it. I'm not the same person as when I was 20. Thank God. My thoughts have evolved along the years. Right? My thoughts continue to evolve year on year. Right? You know, so for whoever feels this way, the recognition and the willingness to change hopefully means in the future they see themselves different and see themselves as powerful.
Right.
You'll not hear a successful person go, I'm just one of the many. You wouldn't. And you'll not hear a unsuccessful person say that they are unique. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
Wow. And if let's say zoom in a little bit, right?
Yeah.
More micro on this, right? Talk about limitations. You know, let's say I'm an advisor,
Yeah.
right? And then I tell you, I say, hey, boss or hey, coach, this year I did 50K, right? FYC. And then next year I want to do, and then let's say you ask me, okay, so Ben, what do you want to aim for next year?
Yeah.
And then I say, Mel, I want to do 60, right? And then let's say you ask me a question of, okay, so Ben, why not like more, right? Because 10K is not too much of a difference, but why not more? Mel, I think, let's say my answer is, Mel, I think, actually I want to do 100, but I feel like 100 is unrealistic. So if someone says this, right, what's your view and what would your thought process in terms of coaching, what is considered realistic versus unrealistic?
I say it's unrealistic with your existing current skill set and current way of thinking. It is not realistic if it's with their current way of thinking. But do you believe that there are methods and skills and different ways of thinking that can enable you to be there? So that's separate. There's a human soul. There's a soul inside you. There is a way of thinking that you have. And there is a skill set you have. So your soul multiplied by your way of thinking, multiplied by your skill set equals your current results. I believe that the human soul is infinite. Now, if you don't believe this, right, you look in the eyes of a child. The child got not a lot of mindset yet, they're developing and zero skill. But when you go to the child and say, hey, 50K FYC, I see this kind of pattern is 1 year old, 50K, I see a 50K a year. No, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
What would you say to a child? 前途无量. I see potential, right? So straight up, just very clear. Why? Because the child not yet filter mindset, no skill set yet.
Yeah.
Correct? But so we see endless potential. You can be anything you want. Notice how great we are with children. Yeah. So guess what? You are still that infinite soul inside you. But right now you have a certain way of thinking with all your limitations and unlimitations, which is big and small in some areas. And you have a certain way of skill set, which is whatever you know right now. Now we need to acknowledge this is infinite, this is limited, and this is limited. So right now, your limited skill set, limited thinking is making you 50K FYC. So you are actually correct. If you keep your existing thinking and existing skill set, you're going to keep making 50K. But if we enhance your mindset, if you desire to, and we enhance your skill set, you will make 50. You kind of see? So in a way, they're correct, but in a way, they're wrong also. Because it is true, everybody performs right now to the limit of their capacity. So I'll give you an example. Let's say I am a laborer, and I want to move this table. The only thing I know, right, is to carry. I will carry. Now, if I suddenly knew there was wheels, would I carry? I would not, but I always do the best and smartest thing I know how. So right now, he's 50K, right? Because that's the max that he can make now with his existing thinking and skill set. So he's correct. But if he's committed to making 100, he got to change his thinking and change his skill set. Right. And then all of a sudden, you make different. How do I know? Because I'm an infinite soul. But back then, with my limited thinking and my limited skill set, I ended up making $800 a month. Now I have a much better thinking and much better skill set, and I make 7 figures. Now, is that the max that I can make? No. If I continue to raise my level of thinking and raise my level of skill set, I can make 8, right? Then I can make 9. Does that kind of make sense? So in a way, they're right.
Would time horizon therefore be a
Absolutely no.
factor?
No.
It's like, I think a lot of times, I don't know if it's an Asian thing, but I think a lot of times, like, the thinking is like, even our growth, we always see it as something that's more incremental and more linear in nature.
Absolutely nonsense.
But I believe success is a little more like exponential or as and when you do it, right?
No, see, if I only know how to move this table by carrying, and I don't go and learn, 2 years later, I'm still moving by carrying, right? We meet people in this industry, right? They are much older, but still achieving the same level of success they had 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? Why? Time has passed, nothing has changed, right? Then you meet different people like some of the folks I coach who are less than 31 years old and TOT. Why? Because the skill set and the thinking is different. So it's not a factor of time. If you buy a shit stock and that stagnates, it's shit. If you buy something that goes down, oh my God, it's worse. So it's not a factor of time. It's a factor of learning. A laborer that carries this table and doesn't learn and only sticks with the same method, 10 years later will still carry this table. But if he go and learn, he carry first, then he go and learn and think, man, wow, that guy move faster. Why you using wheels? Well, another one use robot. Why another one use crane?
Right.
He will change it. Is it a factor of time? No, it's a factor of learning.
This reminds me of a small short little, I don't know, call it like a small short book. You probably have might have heard it before. It's called U Squared by Price Pritchett or something like that, right? I think it's the whole idea of like, there's a fly that wants to get out of the room, keeps banging against the glass because that's all they can see. And then one day, then after that, the in his mind, the fly's mind is like, okay, bang harder, right? Because you work harder.
Yeah.
They end up, he died, right? But little did the fly knew if he just moved 30 meters away and then, he got out, right? Yeah. Why do you think then people are not willing to pay the price? Because we know that. I mean, this sounds all logical and it makes sense. And
because change is scary. You see, if my hand right now holds something and I want to hold that, I need to let go before I take. But in the moment where I let go, I now have nothing.
Right.
And so that's hard. A person would rather stay in a familiar toxic relationship often than leave and get something better. Because they sometimes feel, at least when I'm in a toxic familiar relationship, I still got somebody.
Wow.
It's not that bad. But at the moment I break, shit, I'm alone. Yeah, temporarily, but also the enemy of great is good. Right? But in the moment when you let go of good, right, you gotta have nothing first. You see, I hold this. I gotta let this go, but if I let this go first, in that moment I have nothing, right?
Yeah.
Until I can go for this, right?
Right. Yeah.
But I cannot when simultaneously do both, right? So what's the answer? Is fear. It's scary, right? So you are back to psychology, right?
Yeah.
That willingness. No, if you want to do 50, you can't. If you want to do 100, you can't be thinking and doing the same things as 50.
You let go of.
You got to unlearn, right? So in the process of learning is the process of unlearning first, before the process of relearning. But we don't have a computer, right? You need to uninstall before you install, right? But a computer is easier, right?
How do you think, or what are some of the ways, I'm sure there's more than one, what do you think some of the more effective / common ways you feel like people are able to overcome that fear and be okay to surrender to that nothingness for a time and then like going back? Like what sound like?
Faith in yourself. Faith in yourself. That's a part where it's self-esteem. My greatest thing is I have faith in myself, because I've taken myself from 800 all the way, $800 a month, all the way to 7 figures and climbing. And I have absolute trust in myself, because I know I've done it before. I've gone through the hardships. I know I have in me what it takes. So in that moment where I let go, right, I'm cool. I've taken myself from this place all the way to here, and I just know it's part and parcel of the process. There's nothing scarier. And that's why there's a great book by 50 Cent. And the book is called The 50th Law. And the 50th Law talks about the people who are self-made. And they have great experience with fear.
Great experience with fear.
Great experience with fear. A lot of familiarity with fear. Not like a great experience, but a lot of experience with fear. And the ones that are the least fearful, the most fearless, are the ones that succeed the most. And the ones that are the most fearful, they desire security, they'll never let go. They never let go of good for great. It's all down to fear. But what gives you the reassurance as you let go of this, the trust in yourself? When you have been through hardships and been through all the challenges, you have faith in yourself. You just know that I can do it. Yeah, it might be this, but I believe I'll find a way. And, I've been doing this for this year as we record this 16 years. And I didn't have papa, mama money. I started, as a doing very excellent in the school system, but drop out. And, that was fearful, and I overcame that fear. So what are you going to do now that I've not experienced before? 1 meal a day, you're going to tell me I'll be broke, but I know how to eat 1 meal a day. I know what it takes to go from zero and go around and do all these things. I got zero fear. If you need me to do it, whatever, just tell me what you need, I'll get it done. And so because I have no fear, I say, okay, cool, this doesn't seem to be working. My method, let's let go, let's change. Just like how we have done for the last 16 years. I got no fear. But if people have a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety, that's why. This game belongs to the people with the least fear and the least attachment.
And I want to dive in deeper, and I don't think even with our years of conversation relationship, I ever asked this. But I want to dive in deeper into that thought process, right? So it seems like, when you're articulating on it, to me, at least it seems like, okay, cool, when there are certain external circumstances, reality that does not seem to be present, like the building has not been built, you can't see all these things. There are problems, there are challenges that you can see. What you're saying and what you simply doing in terms of process, right, is that you look inwards, you look back, and you kind of gain evidence and say that, fuck, I went through ABC, I overcame it all fine, and just when I thought I couldn't, I did it anyways, and therefore you find faith and believe in yourself, right? So is that something you train and condition yourself to think this way every time you're faced with doubts and what's that?
So there are two kinds, right? Let's say if you grow up in a harsh environment, then you don't need to listen to this part because you have had so much experience. I think yourself from broke all the way to hopefully a much better place. Let's just talk in terms of, so those are the people that find a way. So you look back, you have experiences that you have done before, and you tap on the fact that you have done those things before. The self-awareness, the self-knowledge, the fact where you're like, hey man, I've been through way harder times than this one. So that's cool. What if you're blessed? What if you have not had such a tumultuous life? Then I think, and as you start something, there's that fear. And that's when I think people should get coaches. People should tap on people that are successful, people that have been there. But sometimes other people's belief in you, especially when they're more successful, is greater than your disbelief in yourself.
Right. Unless they keep defending it.
No, but watch. Other people's, if you find a successful person and they are and you're like, oh, I cannot do it. But they are like, bro, I have more money, I have more experience, and I see you can do it. And so your limited worldview tell me you cannot, but I see you can. That's what a coach does. Right? I was hanging out with Leslie Kwok. He was a national swimmer. And his coach was Ang Peng Siong, one of Singapore swimming legend. And so Leslie was swimming, and he was swimming every single day, not getting very far. And Peng Siong, who was Singapore's top swimmer, and then also top swimming coach, told Leslie, I believe that you'll be Singapore's fastest swimmer. Leslie bullshit, nonsense. Peng Siong said, I'm Ang Peng Siong. I gonna make you Singapore's fastest swimmer. And Leslie did, in fact. It took a processor, but Leslie did, in fact. Why? But Leslie's disbelief in himself was smaller than Peng Siong's believe in him. Right? That's why people find coaches and mentors. Right? Mine was a guy called Bill Allen. Bill Allen had great faith in me back in 2015. Now, why he had faith in me, I'm also confused because I don't know if I was that mega, but he saw in me something that I didn't quite see in myself yet. And he conveyed that to me. And I thought to myself, if Bill Allen say I can, maybe I can. I mean, this guy got way more money than me, right? I don't know if he's full of shit, but he somehow thinks that I can. Am I that guy? I don't know. If Bill Allen think I am, let's go, man. Right. So sometimes you need a person's faith in you that is far greater than your lack of faith in yourself. So that's why people find coaches, you find mentors, you find leaders also. Because there are moments when you're stuck, right? You've never done it before. How are you gonna believe? Huh? You stuck at 6, how you gonna believe you can be 7? Unless the person do 7 before, tell you, don't worry, let's part of the process.
Right.
Yeah, sure. Then you're like, okay, I don't know about this, but you look like you've done it before, so I have faith in you. And I go.
And so you talk about obviously both of us have invested money into ourselves, coaches and everything else, right? you know, and if you put it in context of financial advisors, right? In this world, or in terms of how the business model is structured, it's such that like you always have the moment you're in, you already have some form of resources, some form of mentorship, usually the one who brought you in, so on and so forth. I've seen, and it's not only about like Asian culture and whatnot, but I think especially for advisors, I've seen a lot of people, you know, having this mindset of like, why should I pay for?
Yeah.
Right.
I understand.
You know, so, but yet at the same time, maybe the agency isn't at that level of supporting to where they want to be. But yet at the same time, they don't believe in investing money in themselves. Then for this group of people, like, and then they're kind of not happy where they're at also.
Yeah.
Right. So then it's kind of like a weird situation, right? But why do you think then, you know, they are not willing to invest money? Is it back to that concept that you talk about?
I think it's a level of entitlement, you know, and it could be something for nothing. They think they ought to receive quality education, as if like, you know, Bill Allen should come and knock on my door and come and give me training. That can be one. They think that, you know, that they want to have something for nothing. You know, I need to have world class. They have education and people to help me, and I don't really wish to invest. That could be another reason also. But at the same time, I think they are not clear.
Right.
Yeah, they are not clear, because if I want to change, but I'm not willing to make a change, then my greatest enemy is myself, right? But I'm not clear, right? You see, so here's a guy that says he wants to be fit, but also hangs out at McDonald's all day. Then we just go like, bro, I think you are confused here. I think you need to take some time to go and think. Right. And it's perfectly okay to just go, I want to be fit, I'll never eat Macs again. That's cool. And it's also okay to say, I want to be fat, I don't give a shit about my health, and I'll eat Macs. And let's be clear. But don't be unclear, and then just like, you know, hey, no, then
unclear, right?
Right? Hey, you say I hate my life. Then I say, hey, bro, I can help you. Want to change? No, I don't want. Then he's like, bro, you gotta reflect first. You want to change? Then let's do it. You don't want to change? Then don't complain. Then say my life sucks and I'm okay with it. It's okay. I mean, you know, we don't have to do it. Have it be a full yes or a full no. Don't have a yes and a no. Then now, you know, now you got a sad story to tell. Everyone need to participate and listen to this conflicting story. And it's not cool, you know. So I think people need clarity. You always go back to the idea of clarity. Is like, you know. So I feel you can understand people's clarity and the real story actually based on the actions they take. If he invests, he can say whatever. The real story is so why do people buy? Isn't that a great question? But buy when the pain hits an intolerable stage. Something like teacher X Factor. So everybody got pain. Our life is all full of pain, problems. We all got problems.
Yeah.
We only take action on. So why does pain exist? I think I know why God make pain exist. You know, pleasure is one thing. People can receive pleasure of many things, drinking, whatever, intimacy, blah, 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 right? Pleasure is cool, but pain really helps you focus your attention. Have you realized you got stomach ache or someone beat you up? You are like, you don't think of anything else. You're very focused. You're like, oh my God. Pleasure, you can still think of other things. But some of people know, for all the people watching, your pleasure, you can still think of other things. Pain, you think of nothing. If right now you have a deep cut there, trust me, you ain't thinking about your bank account. No, you are thinking about, ouch, this hurts. Focuses your attention. So when do people take action? When the pain becomes intolerable. You cannot think of anything else. I must get this done. So when a person takes action, the real story is he has drawn a line and said no more.
Right.
So that's the real story. When a person don't take action, but talk about action, the answer is he's actually committed to staying in an uncomfortable but not intolerable situation. He still want to continue. Don't only listen to all the bullshit. He might so I can see he's uncomfortable, but he haven't reached the threshold.
Right.
So he will talk about like, I want to make a change, blah, blah, blah. He will deceive himself and everybody who will participate. But I just need to see the story is very simple. If he want to change, he will change. And then his action will tell me his pain has reached a point, he want to end the story. If he talk about change but never make a change, that means he's uncomfortable, he's not right, but he still want to continue the story. You should tell me, hey bro, like I hear you seem like you talk about a lot of things, but I don't see much action there, so I think you just want to continue like that. Then I just need to tell you that actually you want to continue this shitty situation. And I know that the day you don't want to continue this shitty situation is the day you do something.
And that's actually kind of like, the way when you are saying this out, right, it just reminded me of like, that's actually, you know, to be honest, like how a sales conversation is like, right? You're helping someone find clarity.
It is not a sales conversation. It is a clarity and decision
Yeah.
conversation. Get clear. You want to do it, let's do it. You don't want to do it, just just look at me and just say, actually, I'm quite committed to making 50K. I just want to stay right at this level. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. But don't be unclear where you keep saying you want to make 100. I can show you I make 100, but then you don't want to take the action to make 100, which in essence means you want to stay at 50. Then now you confuse it. You try to confuse me as well. I'm not confused.
Yeah.
When you're hungry, you eat food, right? Because you're not confused, right? You're hungry, you talk about hungry, there's food there, you don't go and eat. Now you're like, whoa, what's up? Your action tell me you're not really hungry yet.
Wow.
Smoke yourself, smoke everybody. That's the thing. We should be very careful about participating in people's nonsense. Some of the people will tell the story to everybody. They will listen. Like, oh, I tell you, let me. It's like, hey, bro, reactions tell the whole story.
Yeah. Wow. That is really wow. Wow, that's great. So, Mel, you look at like the people you coach, right?
Yeah.
And obviously you don't coach, from what I know, I might be wrong, but of course you don't coach like someone who just really started out.
I have before, but they had the right traits.
Yeah. But it's not really kind of like the people you coach are like top people, right? So, I've noticed, and when in that sector, when I'm with you, obviously some of the people that you coach in the industry, in the advisory space, are like 5, 8, 10, 15 years, like people that long in the industry are relatively successful, right? What do you see, or what do you kind of, if there's anything of a common trait or traits that you've seen in these people who are able to, not only last long in the industry and be able to stay in the game, but also play the game at a higher level and really earn
Two
good
words,
money?
no hesitation. No hesitation means it's completely part of their life. They're very surrendered. Just when I see beginners, remember what we just talked about? The conflict is always within themselves. It's never with the prospect. It's always within themselves. Do I want to do this? Do I not want to do this? Do I want to have this career? What do I want to do this year? A lot of like internal dialogue. That's why I spend so much time talking about psychology. Because when you're starting out, right, and you're not you haven't like fully embraced the identity and committed to this lifestyle and this career, you are your own worst enemy, not the prospect. The prospect only see that you are like a very uncertain person, and they also like participate in your uncertainty in yourself.
Right.
But you're uncertain in your own skill, you're uncertain whether you want to do this for life, you're uncertain in your own ability, you're uncertain in your own etc. So the front, you're always fighting against yourself.
Right.
But there comes a point, right, where all of a sudden you're like, I think this is what I want to do. This is who everything clicks. This is what I want to do. This is my commitment to this profession. These are the clients I attract. This is what I want as a goal. That's maturity, right? And so when they hit that point, then they have no hesitation. Let's go. This is part of life. Let's do it. Whatever it takes. And the people at the front are the when I free, I don't know how long will I stay in this career. Maybe I give myself another 4 months, 5 months. We look and see what kind of bullshit is this, right? But I understand. I have empathy for it because I know, I know what it's like to start and have the uncertainty. And so uncertainty. What is the opposite? Certainty. That's why I say the answer is no hesitation. It's part of memory.
Is it a decision-making process, or is it a point in time where
it is one or the other. It's a maturity process. When you are done with this stage, and that's why the hardest part is here. It's like startup. Right? The hardest part is, both the system, the process, the building, and also the internal dialogue also. Life is great when you hit here, when all of a sudden, like, everything clicks. Right? We had a conversation just now. I told you the revenue hit when everything clicks.
Yeah.
There's no uncertainty, there's no hesitation, there's just full flow. Right? And at one time, the person is unstoppable already. But everything clicks. The team work, the skill works, the psychology works, the habits work, everything works already. And so the goal is to hit that point. Now, of course, that stage presents its own challenges also. Because then there could be complacency, right?
Yeah.
And there could be self-sabotage, blah, blah, blah. But if you're asking me, what do all these people have in common is they know how to reach a stage where it's flow.
And I want to do a segue into this, right? So then how do people then deal with boredom, with the whole idea of repeating the same behavior? It's more or less similar with businesses, but you look at advisory, it's every day you prospect, right? They do sales, right? They plan for clients, right? It's the same shit, right? And at some point in time, I've noticed also people who does relatively well, COT, yada yada, and then the 4, 5, 6 years in business. I also tend to find that some of them, they're just more 就这样子哦。
Is the Maslow hierarchy of needs? That's the answer. And that's why you remember when we go back right to the very beginning when I first said the answer is you need to have the self-clarity and self-awareness. What does your life mean? I know this is a strange place to begin. You introduced me by saying I talk about the metaphysical, which is kind of interesting. But I got a friend called Joey Yap that really talks about metaphysical. But I guess in some way this is metaphysical. But you got to understand what is the meaning of your life, right? What's the definition? Because if your life is set upon basic needs at the bottom level of Maslow hierarchy, around 25K, bro, you run out of things to buy already. I was doing a retreat with financial advisors, top ones. They eat omakase 5 times a week. And they eat until they bought it. I said, this is a bit depressing. Imagine going for fancy fine dining and being bored out of your goddamn mind. But you do it like every day. I said, why you do it every day? I had nothing to do. Hey, then you got a sad story nobody can resonate with now. It's like, well, you do this to yourself, You enjoy too much luxury until luxury has no meaning left. Then it's like, but why you're stuck at the Maslow hierarchy lowest needs, right? Now, what does Maslow say? Maslow say everything below, right, is external. Maslow say everything upwards is internal. Self-actualization, spiritual connection, etc., blah, blah, blah. So the game is to move from external all the way to internal. Right? Now, of course, if you're right now, and there are stages, SOL, stages of life. Right now, you make 1 or 2K, hey, we don't talk spirituality. You go and get food. I was there before, $800 a month, my only concern. I don't know if I was being close to God. I was close to starving. It's different. But you progress a little bit, you're like, hey man, I make this amount of money, I want to buy a few nice things.
Yeah.
But nice things have a diminishing return of enjoyment. So you got some friends that like to buy watches, right? Yeah. Your most exciting is the first watch.
Yeah.
The second will still be great, but it won't be like the first.
Yeah.
Around the 8th watch, you start saying things like, it's just a watch. Around the 30th, then you'll be like, I just buy it. No more feeling. Ain't that depressing? You work so hard for this item that you now have no emotional feeling towards it. Same for cars, same for hotels, same for luxury. And now you have a problem. You cannot, no more stimulus already. Then how? Then like that. Just like that for the rest of our lives. That is a shitty life. Right? So where else is the stimulus after that? It's internal. Right? Is that when you actualize, or when you succeed, when you plan something, you do something meaningful, and then you make something happen, and then the dopamine and the good feelings come from within. Right? So there's only this much dopamine from external things, and the more you enjoy it, the less you have. You buy one car, very shook. Second car, not that shook. Around the 10th car is all just a car you cannot remember. Then afterwards it's like, oh man, is this it? Just gonna live out my entire life buying things and barely registering on my emotions. Like, wow, this does sound very successful to me.
That's true.
So then we go back, we look back, and what actually gives success? It's the turning of an idea into fruition. It's the fulfilling of our full potential. It's becoming the best version of myself. Now you do it, and it's actually the best place to do it. But you do it not from a place of need, not from a place of desperation. And it's more fun to run business when you have money. I tell you first. Yeah, really. I mean, one day I hope you guys have money. I don't know which camera to look at, but it's more fun. It's more fun to play when it's like you just go and see. It's more fun to play soccer when you're 3-0 up. Then you can start to do tricks, you can do fun things. When it's 0-0, it's a bit tight. When you 3-0 down, it's not fun. But you need to score 3 goals to be parity. It's more fun when you're up. It's more fun to play when you're money. Then you do it for love, for joy, for fun. So I hope for everybody, when I started X Factor, you guys were there with me at the beginning. I always tell people the number one thing for salespeople is make sure you got money first. Well, when you got money, you look at the bank account and go, actually, I close you, don't close you, never mind. And your state is different. Now, if you have the reverse and you look at the bank account and go, shit, I'm down 40 grand. Then you become desperate. Right? Then you're like, hey, you better buy it. Please buy it. Please buy. But your background conversation is, please buy it because I need the money. And now the energy is all off.
Yeah, I would love to go into the sales before wrapping this up. Yeah, so obviously you've done a heck lot of sales. Obviously, you're talking about 8 figures,
16 years has been a long time. Yes,
What are some of the truths you see, not just tactic strategies and stuff like truths you see in sales that's more of a higher level that is applicable and across all kinds of sales, at least for me, one of the things for me is law of the mirror, right? Sales is a reflection game, what are some of the things that you have learned and crystallize and
I will tell you one of the. I'll tell you two big ones, right? There are whole ton, I can go into micro, but I'll tell you two overarching ones. The first one is the law of emotional transfer, which could be the law of the mirror. Sounds very similar. Which simply means that whatever you feel, they feel. So every single time a conversation, right, is a transfer of EEBC, emotion, energy, belief, and conviction, from one person to the other. Now, never say whether it's high or low, but you know whether you transferred high or low based on whether their action afterwards. So if you finish talking to people, right, they all have one thing in common: they never buy. Hey, you suddenly transferred energy, emotion, conviction, and belief. Just a complete lack of these. So which means that they buy do they, or they buy into like, well, this is nonsense, and they all don't buy. Now, if you talk to people and afterwards you talk to them, they all buy. You transfer energy, emotion, conviction, and belief. High levels of which, then they buy. So every time we talk about this, then people just go like, So let's examine what gives you emotion, energy, conviction, and belief. First thing first, right? It really, really helps if you buy your own shit. And you really believe that your stuff is good. Not in a very NLP kind of way, whereby you convince yourself via tapping your chest and doing all sorts of stuff, right? Where you genuinely believe it. Because why? Because we have all watched a great movie before. And not affiliate incentivizer. We just watched a movie before. I thought it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And we were just like, oh my God, bro, you need to watch this movie. It's damn good. And then you're just a fantastic salesperson. But what if you have either never watched a movie before, but you got affiliate incentivized to get people to watch it? Or worse, you watch the movie and it sucks. But I pay you and say, hey, Ben, whether you like it, don't like it. Actually, I know you don't like it. I'm just going to recommend it, okay? I pay you money. Then you can see, you can see from an emotional standpoint, it's a problem, right? Because when you do either number two, you actually never done it before, but you're supposed to be a salesperson. Or number three, worse, you hate it, and deep down think it's full of shit, but you can sell it. Your EEBC is often. It's very often. Then you need to do a lot of weird things to convince yourself also. Correct? It's not natural. So there are books that teach you the many things you can do to look like you're telling the truth. From an NLP standpoint, I love to study this kind of thing, right? There's you mirror their breath. Blinking.
This right,
you mirror their body language, your pace.
Correct.
So that you look like you're telling the truth. And I say, hey bro, I got a complete idea for you to look like you're telling the truth. Tell the truth. Hello. If you tell the truth, you don't let it look like you're telling the truth. So I don't promote a lot of things. And I found that the greatest strength in my ability to promote, right, was to promote things I believe in. And to come from that space also. If I believe, then the power is exponential. If I don't believe, then it's really off. And when I don't believe in something, I just don't want to sell it anymore. I think it's for shit, right? It's fake, right? People can tell it. Because when you're on point and you believe something, it's like telling the truth, right? Then all part of your body language sound correct. Right? Your posture, your tonality, it sounds right. It just is right. When you're not, it is off. I noticed this because as part of my X Factor coaching years ago, I was helping this fellow. You might know him, don't know him, doesn't matter. Okay, no judgment against him. He was teaching an e-commerce class. Then afterwards, his webinar not converting. So I'm gonna ask him, hey bro, how come your webinar not converting? I helped him do his slides because I thought it was about the process of the sales, the webinar conversion. Actually, slide not bad. Follow some of the things I teach, but still cannot convert. No, I casually asked him, hey, how's your e-commerce own store going? Oh, he said, I closed already. I said, why? Oh, he said, I'm not making money. I said, let me get something straight. You're saying an e-commerce coaching here. Just telling people how they can follow your coaching and make an e-commerce store and make a lot of money. But your own e-commerce store is dead. I said, you see a problem here.
Yeah, incongruence also.
Exactly. Yeah. And so every time he talks, he knows he's full of shit, right? No, I'm not saying we all should be a saint. I say fundamentally, at least go and buy the stuff and sell shit you believe in. It just comes across better. So if you believe in something, and even better, you buy it, and you actually invest in it, the way you share about it is different. So do things that are congruent and authentic. Or else, if it's not, then you end up having to use all sorts of weird methods to look like you're telling the truth when you're not. That's critical. So first key, please be honest, authentic, real. That's the critical thing. Or else you need to do a lot of weird things to look like it, and it just don't feel right.
Yeah.
Because you cannot. But I saw NLP that tell you how you can match a person's breathing. How you do it, I fucking don't know. Match blink rate, match posture, match tonality, match movement. I say, bro, this is a lot of work.
I also say that.
I say, this sounds like a lot. I can't keep up. You must understand your unconscious mind, right, is far more powerful than your conscious. So if I give you all of these variables, right, you cannot, I don't know who can keep up with matching your tonality, breath, body, just oh my God. And you know what? You don't have to do it if you come from a truthful space, because it all lines up. First key. Second key is to understand this day and age, right? Branding is really important. So I call something that I teach in X Factor called 1980 selling versus 2023. When I shoot this is 2023. 1980 selling. Last time no social media. So I say someone tell me, hey, Ben Ong very pro. I say, oh, who's this guy? I pass you his number, you can call him. So I call you on my landline. Say, Ben Ong, my friend, they say, Michelle say you very good. Okay. Can we meet at coffee shop? I cannot Google you. Newspaper don't have it. Okay. So you need to go to the coffee shop and do what I call a presentation of a lifetime. You sit there, you take a plastic folder. Remember last time I got a plastic folder? Pen and paper. You present the heck out of it. Yeah. After 2 hours, I say, okay, Ben Ong, steady, you're a very good salesman. I do business with you. Okay. That's 1980s, right? So 9.5 out of 10 steps for sales was done by you. The half was a referral. 2023. I got Michelle tell me, Ben Ong very good. I say how to spell the Ben, B-E-N, is it? I got social media now, I want to go and see. Correct or not? Yeah. So now there's no interaction with you. I just can follow you, look at your stuff, correct? Yeah. Now if I do not like what I see, so you're not either findable, you're not like a person that I don't want to associate with, etc. I learn on your profile, I don't like the stuff I see. Guess, will I ever get a chance to reach out to you? Will you ever get a chance to close me? Zero. Right? So all of these conversations happen without your knowledge. They follow you, they stalk you, blah, 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 and then they consume your stuff. And eventually, right, if you give them an opportunity, you put enough information out there, by the time they reach out to you, guess what? They're not at 1. They're at 7, 8. They already saw themselves already. Yeah. So when they come and find you, you are like, oh, hi, my name is Ben. Oh, yeah, I know already. I follow you.
yeah, I get it.
You're like,
yeah,
wow, I know everything. They come wanting to buy already. Now, how do you know this is true? What has wrecked or destroyed or disrupted this whole thing? Internet. Marshall Thurber told me, it's called, right now we live in the age of the fully informed buyer. I go to KL. I want to eat restaurant. You think I just walk in the restaurant and let them sell me? No, what? I do my own research, right? Yeah. I go to Google. Food near you. I go and read all the review. Correct, right? So by the time I walk to the restaurant, I've already decided this is my restaurant. But of course, if they're rude to me, then I will leave and find my second best one. So why do I walk in? I walk in to verify that indeed what I look is what is. I noticed this because there was a time in COVID time when I was doing a lot of webinars. I thought to myself, wow, my webinar closing is crushing it. Then I went to do the class, right? I said, how many of you came through my webinar and were convinced? And then people were like, no, actually we follow you a while already. I said, and not only did they say they follow me a while, they say they came in, they know I'm going to teach. They know the price. They know everything. I said, guys, why the hell do I even need to do a webinar? Next time my webinar 5 minutes long. Hello guys, you all come and know exactly. I give you a link. Please go and sign up. Why do I even start going like, hi guys, my name is Melvin. Here's what I do for 2 hours. Or they say, oh no, I must check, right? Must check whether legit, right? I said, oh, so I'm basically doing this to a bunch of fully informed people. They know what the offer is. They know what the price is. They know what the website to buy is. Or they just there to watch me. Come on, song and dance a bit. Come. I want to see whether what I hear is correct.
Right, yeah.
I say, isn't that funny? You know, it's the same for dating these days. People say, swipe a person, they go and search them. They search your favorite movie, everything, but still ask, what's your favorite movie? They know the answer already. Must check, right? It's kind of funny. New age of selling.
I want to go back to like the first point, right? The EBC one, right? What if somebody have, high on EBC, so energy, beliefs, convictions, so on and so forth. But just now we talk about the state in which you are in. Let's say we have to close the sale because of we pay the bills, that kind of stuff, right? So even though we bought our own product, we have full conviction and everything else, but yet we have this I need to pay the bills kind of like mentality, and that would how would that work out, right? Because it's not as if this person got no belief. It's just that like I also need to pay the bills, so I kind of like need to make sure you buy. Yeah, and then usually sometimes they can sense it, right? And then like so for how do people or salespeople in general kind of in a way like detach from the outcome?
And there are different layers to this. In the beginning, it's just hard work. Be congruent and it's hard work, and it's same for anything. Later on, when you have money, you have fame, you have all those things, it gets easier and easier. But nothing takes away from the grind at the beginning. Hopefully, when you're beginning, you'll find a company, a leader, an organization, a product that you believe in. And then, it's all hard work at the beginning. Because we all got to pay the bills, but you are detached from whether they buy or don't buy, right? Because you know your numbers. You know that if I approach this number of people, it's going to work. And so it's not like, I need you to go and buy. So at the start, it's hard work. Right? So I detach because I know it. I know if I shoot this amount of times, I'm going to score. I don't know which one. I don't give a shit. But I know. That goes back to the things that I can control.
So instead of, okay, the way I look at it, now that you say it, right, it's kind of like, you know, being in a good state is also, at least you have some form of leverage, right? Let's say you have money in the bank, it's a lot easier, right? I feel like, right, you know, I think what you're saying.
The currency at the start, right, is hard work.
Yeah.
Yes, it's hard work.
Right. Like the leverage here is like, if I can have more people to meet, which comes back down to hard work and prospecting, then I wouldn't be as hard on like making sure that this is the only fella that I close.
Yeah. So it goes back to trust and faith in yourself. Okay. Like, you know, I just understand, I have different projects that I'm beginning now, and I've just trust and faith. You know, it all takes time. I don't know when it's going to work. I know it is going to work at some point in time. But I'm not rushing it because I know, hey man, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You know, you take a few shots, you learn along the way, you're going to figure it out. Now, when the exact date and time, I don't know, but I have the faith and the knowledge that it will be done. And that comes with experience also.
Wow. Totally love that.
There's no lah. When am I going? I don't know. I just know that it will happen one day. I can't predict. Yeah. So at the beginning, I just go and do lah. You know, I'm in the right state. I go and do. I know that good things will happen.
Wow.
But I don't know which one. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Last question.
Sure.
This one more of a from me to you.
Sure.
To ask more sales technical stuff. You know, we talk about NLP just now, right?
Yeah.
And then there's 1,001 things needs to be done.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah, right? Is it the same idea as like, okay, what do you think of like DISC slash Enneagram and then profiling people as a tools to aid in closing? What are your thoughts on view on that? For me personally, get an idea of like what's
I'll answer your question very simple. No, but don't obsess. Let me, I sweep all those aside. I just tell you right now, let's say I judge you, Ben Ong, not as a human being, I judge you based on your 八字 horoscope. I say, according to then you want to have a conversation. I say, sorry, according to your horoscope, Ben, you're this kind of person. Then after a while, you're like, I don't want to connect this person. But he's judging me, my entire being, not by the connection. But entirely on my horoscope. It's like a very weird thing, right? I have dated people who only see horoscope. Oh, sorry, according to the horoscope.
Yeah, Leo.
I'm like, okay, it's cool as a reference.
Yeah.
Right? But I mean, so no, but don't obsess. Because the moment you obsess, then you're denying the being in front of you, right? So because I see Ben, I don't see a type 4 wing 3. I don't see a dominant. It's
kind of like profile. You just lock them. I contact the person.
It's a bit weird, right?
D and I. Yeah. You know, like we have people like.
I kind of know.
Yeah.
I know. I think it's cool to know.
Yeah.
You know, and actually, like after a while, you don't even need to go through the entire profile. You look at how a person behaves after a while, and then you just kind of know. Some are louder, some are softer, some are introverted, extroverted. Doesn't matter, right? You know. But I've also seen people. And why we want to be very careful about fully obsessing and labeling people is that people are different in different scenarios. Right? You can have a dominant guy, you go home, listen a lot to his wife. Right? You can have an introverted person who, with their closest friend, is extroverted. So I'm giving you, so I can kind of like see according to this scenario right now, you have this kind of traits. But are they always these traits?
Right.
You know, so like, you know, am I always like this loud? No, I like staying in a nice ass bar and not talk to people. I'm not always like this, you know. It's very tiring to be like this 24/7. So when am I a type 4 wing 3? And when am I correct or not? It's like, hey man, not everybody is like this all the time. So I want to get to I want to know.
Yeah.
But I also want to get to know you as a person.
But have you used it? Like, meaning you say, right? Like, kind of, okay, maybe your profile, blah, blah, blah. Then use something and ask.
I think it's useful, especially for getting information across.
Yeah.
In a way that makes sense. I just use it today because when I work with different groups, some of the people are more logical, some people are more creative, right? If I hang out with, I work with female trainers that have a all-female group of people, and they would prefer the pitch be about connecting with your inner soul, metaphysical, unleashing that promise within, very right brain language. And I just finished this afternoon with a more left brain group, and they're like, can you give me the framework and the logical step-by-step towards success? Knowing these things are kind of cool. And it really helps in getting the information across. That's really critical. It really helps in understanding their decision-making process, right? One feels, another processes, and many other ways, right? So how they think, how they decide, what is important to them, how they wish to be spoken to also, you know. But I would say at the end of the day, like, that's just...
Do you think it's icing on the cake?
That comes with knowing people lah. Like we can label, but after a while, like anyone who's good with people can kind of see like energetically, right? So I just think that some of these things, like I've seen people that are great with people, have never taken any of these trainings, and they just know how to adjust and adapt, like yin yang kind of thing. And I've seen people who are overly obsessed with the label not be able to do very well with it. So that's why I say you know, but don't obsess. Because what you should do, right, is you should match your energy to the person in front of you. That's something that's not even covered in all of these things. Because I can be type 4 wing 3, type 3 wing 8 and whatever, or DISC, but I can be having a bad day today.
Right.
But if you keep going, you are in your head and you're not connecting with me. Does that make sense? So I want to kind of know and get it, but I want to be present with the person in front of you, because if I'm profiling you nonstop, right, I'm not listening to you.
Right.
You could be having a bad day. You could have a family member just pass away. You could just made $1 million. You could have had a stressful day.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, so I can understand what kind of person you are. Actually, after a while, it's like kind of easy. You just look at the way they dress. You look at certain things. You look at the examples they give. You look at the way they text. You roughly know he's a very free flow person. He's a more logical person. If you're smart enough, you do a bit of research. You can go and find out also. But afterwards, it's like, okay, cool. I know, but I want to be present. I don't want to obsess about it. Keep thinking, wing 3, 4,
I love
8,
it. No, but
the core
not
values.
obsessed.
Okay, like I'm messing with it. It's like, hey, bro, then you're not watching a person in front of you.
Yeah, okay. Wow, I love that. No, but don't obsess.
No, but don't obsess. It's kind of like there are guys in the dating industry as well, right? They love to like plan everything out. It's like, hey man, if you in your brain you're not with the person, you're not present. Wow. And they can sense it. But your eyes don't know. The NLP, right? Your eyes don't know. Don't look there. Your eyes look up, look left, because you are attempting to recall and you're not present.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Damn. Okay. I know that was the last question, but this is the last one.
Sure, no problem.
Okay, so this is the last question that I'll usually ask, like,
Sure,
right? So if you look at the last 16 years on your own journey of developing not only financials but yourself as a person and going through all the different stages and businesses, so on and so forth, what is one thing, knowing what you know now, you go back 16 years ago, you would do differently?
Very easy. I will find a mentor earlier. And I will skip the part where I attempt to struggle and figure everything out by myself. Too much school, too much belief in my own intelligence. I'll just go and find a mentor. And I know you mentor people, you coach people. That's the quickest way. I have found somebody who has already done it before, and I'll either work for that person or whatever, be able to add value to that person. If I had done that, it would shorten everything. If you have money at the start, then go and hire that person. Because then, if you don't have money, because then that person is technically your boss, not your coach, right? So then you're going to have to learn by modeling and hopefully do well enough to be in a position to ask great questions and be in great scenarios also. But at least the good news is that, you at least get paid. Now, if you have the money, then go and hire that person and straight up be able to ask questions and tap on connections and leverage the knowledge also. I wish I had known that earlier. I didn't have resources and money then, but I wish I'd gone to find some of these people and went up and said, and made an irresistible offer and said, you know what, can I either work for you and like be around you and shit, I'll carry a briefcase, I don't give a shit, and that's what I'll do. That is straight up the easiest question they have today. That would have shaved a lot of time off and just really shortcut the success. That's why I like the coaching space, the mentoring space a lot, especially, I know people have different things they say about it. But remember, I was struggling to find direction until Bill came along and many other mentors in my life. It's really hard to find your direction when the room is entirely pitch black dark. And the mentor is a person that like one thing. Because if you're smart and there's a candle that comes on, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I kind of get it, right? And then you turn one light on and straight away one light on, you can see the rest of it. It's like, but it's if you're in the dark, you're like, and it's real hard. And you could be there forever. So this is like easier. So you can find a deal with a candle. It's like easier. Wow.
That's awesome. Thank you, Mel.
All right. I hope you're enlightened.
Yeah, this is really good. Definitely for the audience as well.
Cool.
Thanks for taking your time.
Thank you.